This NBA playoffs with FanDuel, you're not just watching the playoffs, you're a part of them.
Steve's got the phone, opens FanDuel, and he's going for threes.
Be a part of the action on FanDuel. All customers get a profit boost every NBA playoff game day. 21 plus and present in select states. Opt-in required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See full terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or 1-800-MY-RESET.
Welcome back to another episode of Susan Lopresti Wellness, Mind, Body, and Soul. This is the podcast where we explore the highs, the lows, and everything in between when it comes to a woman's life, her health, and all aspects of navigating the midlife landscape. I'm your host, Susan Lopresti, and today I have two very special guests with me. It's a husband and wife team. Her name is Rocio Aquino, and her husband is Angel Orengo, and they are the authors of the Orchid and are the co-founders for The Highest Good, which is a company that's dedicated to creating transformative narratives that inspire personal growth and empowerment. Together, they blend their vast professional and global experience to design projects that foster conscious leadership and a more authentic way of living. Rocio, born in Mexico City and now based in Los Angeles, has built a distinguished career in media and advertising sales, working with renowned companies such as Time Magazine, TV Azteca, Nickelodeon, Sony Pictures Entertainment, and A&E Mundo. Her career and her life journey have taken her to cities like Miami, Hong Kong, and London, shaping her talent for connecting people, ideas, and opportunities. Angel, originally from Puerto Rico and a graduate of Cornell University, had a successful career at Sony Pictures Entertainment, where he led content distribution teams across Latin America, Asia Pacific, and Europe. With experience spanning over 65 countries, Angel has merged his corporate leadership with a profound journey of self-discovery and purpose. Both firmly believe that inner well-being is the foundation for prosperity in all aspects of life, including business. They advocate that when a person is in harmony with themselves, their professional endeavors flow more authentically and productively, leading to sustainable and meaningful results. Their debut work, The Orchid, The Secret Code of Modern Goddesses, invites readers to discover their inner power and find balance in their lives. It serves as a reminder that self-love, gratitude, and inner clarity are the keys to achieving success in all areas of life. Welcome to my podcast, Rocio and Angel. I am so excited to have you here. I can't put this book down, and I just can't wait to jump in and start asking you questions and finding out what was going on in your life and how you got started with this. But let's start from the beginning, because Angel, it's funny because you were in corporate America, and so was Rocio. So Rocio, when you were in advertising and media, right? So that's what you were doing. And then Angel was also in his career, right? He was also doing media sales and advertising, I believe.
Yes, that's right. I did a number of different things: advertising, planning, account managing, eventually moved to advertising sales. And eventually, where I spent the most of my time was in program sales, so content sales.
And so what inspired, so Angel, I'll ask you first, what inspired you to move away from that?
Look, I think, like anything else, the moment you've done something for a long time, arches begin to kind of wind down. And I believe my career was starting to, there were a lot of changes in the industry.
Yeah.
There was also one more thing, and I never really came to terms with that until very recently. And that is that I was not in harmony 100%. So on one end, we had an incredible life that had been gifted by the privilege of being part of this incredible industry.
Mhm.
But I also, when we went home, Rocio and I would turn off the television for our daughters because we said there are certain stories, there are certain influences that we don't want you to have. And so we were living in this duality that really had to somewhat align at some point. And that happened recently in the last 3 to 4 years. And so that coincided with my exit from the industry. And the last point I will make is I really haven't exited. The only thing that I've done is change direction, but the tools and the skills and the ambition is very much tied to the industry of entertainment, because I think there's a possibility for us to do what we're doing right now and empower people and still use those tools.
Right. Exactly. I feel the same way because I was in corporate America for 27 years. And I know what you're saying. It's a little bit, for me, my personal experience, soul sucking, because it wasn't my passion, but it was a salary and stability. And that's what keeps you there, I feel like, right? And I met wonderful people, but the work that I was doing was not fulfilling at all. And I was making a good living. And now it's the opposite. I don't make the money that I was making back then, but I am extremely happy and content. And I think that that's more important than anything else. So, Rocio, what was it that prompted you to walk away from that position?
Well, at one point where the career of Angel begins to really
To take off.
and go to another level, he was offered to move to Hong Kong. And in Hong Kong, when you have a visa, you cannot work. So in that moment, for me, was incredible opportunity to know another cultures. So instead of working, I was really experiencing life and seeing all these cultures and really understanding how people work, how people are, all these very successful people, what they have in common. So I was really watching and seeing and immerse myself in the experience of life. So really was, and then I have 2 daughters, so I was able to stay with them. And after that, Angel was offered to move to London. So we moved to London, and over there happened the same, putting the connections together about what is to be, who we are, and how we make ourselves. So really, I didn't work properly, but I was working to understand. And really, those were the bases for us to do and create this book.
Right, that's what I want to ask you. What was your inspiration on creating this book? First of all, it's so beautifully written and so eloquent and detailed that you become part of the book. Literally, I can't put it down. So what inspired you to write this book? The book?
Thank you so much, Susan, because that's the intention. The intention is when you are reading the book, you really immerse yourself and put all your creativity to create this oasis for the soul. So at one point I did an investment, we did an investment, and we lost all the money. So it was really difficult for me to let go. And in that exact moment, Angel was like he was able to let go, but for me was not at all. I was depressed, I was sad. It's like in a very sad part. So that was the drop that fulfilled the cup of is enough. I need to learn how to forgive. So I begin to ask a lot of people, how do you forgive? How they not only let go. No, well, you can go to therapy, but I just to go to therapy, and I knew that was not enough. So I begin to ask many questions and to persons. And in general, people, they don't know exactly the steps, the 1, 2, 3, 4, what you can do to really forgive. So of course, when you have a question, the universe give you the answers.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So give me the answers and I begin to apply. Do you want to say something?
No, keep going.
I begin to apply all that knowledge like is not tomorrow. So at one point, I was experiencing everything and I was able to really understand my emotional body and how to clean it. And in the moment that I was cleaning all the body and I was really going back to the past and assessing
Yeah.
the past and the moment, and I didn't have any reaction, I didn't have anything, was like oh my God, this is working wonders. So I was with Angel and saying, really, this is the answer that I was looking to try to pass to the most people possible for them to empower themselves from inside to the outside. And it's like, how can I do this even bigger? And it's, let's do a TV show. And of course, Angel is like no one. You can tell us.
Well, I think it's important to mention that when Rocio enters this process, right, she would come to me and say, how do you forgive? I said, I don't know, just let it go, right? Because for me, it was simpler.
Yeah.
I think I had a chip inside of me that was very filled with wisdom, very filled with a certain style of living, very mindful, but I couldn't explain it. I didn't know what that was. And so at some point, as we're embarking on this journey of introspection, I'm entering into deep understanding of myself, a deep understanding of why I was the way I was, where did it come from? I was having a lot of aha moments. Rocio, in parallel, is going through a deep transformation. So I'm understanding and she's transforming, and this is happening in front of each other. So we had each other to be able to talk about it, to get somehow documented. And so we knew we weren't going crazy. It really was changing us. And on top of that, we were reading an incredible amount of books, over 200 books over a period of 2 years, all related with the subjects of growth, energy, enhancement, awareness, spirituality, etc. So when she turns to me and we are looking at each other and seeing the impact of what's happening in our lives, both collectively and individually, and she says, let's do a TV show, it made absolute sense. This is the world we come from.
Right.
We know the power that these methods have of, sharing with the world. But then all I could think of was, oh my gosh, everyone who I know who would hold the keys or the money or the production to do something like this would look at us and laugh, because we would never have done anything creatively. We've always been in the business side. So my crazy idea, and I don't know where it came from, I said to Rocio, what if we did a story? Because so many books become, Hollywood creations, if you will. And I remember saying, if we did a story and it changed one life, it would have already been worth it. But if it changes 1 million lives, then we have the attention of people who would help us to make this. And so that's how we embarked on the idea of creating a story. We played around with the possibility that it was our story, like our self-help book, but we're like, no, there's so many of those.
Right.
Let's make it into a narrative. Let's make it into a novel, because human beings have been gathering around the fire for millions of years, telling each other stories. Let's tell a story. And that's how we get started.
I love that. As you're talking, I'm thinking about the fact that you're both individuals and you're both doing all of this introspection, and it just blended together. But there are a lot of couples that are not on the same path. Like Rocio may have been, and you may have been in a totally different place. So you're so fortunate, and it makes you a power couple, truly, that you were both doing this together. I think it's a beautiful thing. You don't know how special it is that you're both on the same path and so united, because a lot of times one person will have one way of thinking and the other person a completely different way, and they just can't see eye to eye on something like this. And so for Rocio to be upset and crying and devastated, and you being in your way, but you were able to understand what she was going through and you had compassion for that. And I think that that's beautiful. So now I want to ask you, the 5 characters in this book, are they completely fictional, or they are? I was thinking the whole time, I wonder if they know someone that has similarities. Like, you
Well,
did.
Yes, of course. Everyone, Susan, is alive. Every person who is alive has a trauma.
yeah.
Absolutely.
So we only choose 5 stories for 5 women to represent, but this can apply to anyone. And that's why at one point you see one of the stories and you don't relate only with one woman.
Yeah.
You relate with different women in different moments because
Yes. I'm
that's
seeing
it.
that myself. Yes. A little piece of her, a little piece of her. And yes.
You know, it's hindsight, everyone is a genius, right? That's kind of the saying. And I wish I could tell you that we had it so clear when we were doing this, but the truth is something was leading us. And what ended up happening is that we created characters that represented, yes, inspired, loosely inspired by so many people we've known that have had similar experiences, but really inspired by a piece of us, right? There is a character, Olivia, who is at the height of her career, standing in front of the United Nations, and all she's doing is doubting everything that she's doing.
Yes.
That was me, right? That was me in the many instances in which I was doing really grand things from a point of view, but ultimately not sure of myself, doubting myself, trying to continue that I'm not perfect, I need to be better. Then there's the divorced woman. We both come from divorce and single mothers. There is the gay woman. Even though we haven't experienced that ourselves, we're all hiding something from other people, and we're always selling ourselves short because we feel that we need to make other people proud of us, comfortable with us. And who do we give up? Our authenticity.
Yes.
And so every woman,
We've been abused.
we've been sexually abused, the two of
Yeah.
us, he as an adult, me as a child. So there's a character that had to be sexually abused.
Yes.
And so we're all the women. But the truth is, we all carry these traumas, as Rocio said. And so it was important for us to describe as many of them in a broad spectrum of characters.
Yes, they're all unique, but at the same time, their traumas are not unique. They happen every day. And even Stephanie with the eating disorder.
Yeah.
Oof, oof.
And I'm at the part where she was walking back from somewhere and after breakfast, and she went and started vomiting. And oh God, I'm terrible with names.
Mary.
Mary sees her And she said, "Oh, I lost my earring." And Mary was like, "No, we know." And oh my God, I just love the characters. I love them. I love the place. I wish it was a real place because I'd be signing up.
Susan, please say that again because the universe is listening.
I love that place and I wish I could go. I'd sign up. Or I'd have to be recommended, but I could think of several people who would recommend me to go.
Oh, that's so amazing.
Nice.
Yeah. So
May I say a few more things? For example,
yes, please.
all the rooms where they stay, the rooms are real. We've been in them because what we did is, and Mary's 10-year journey to find herself is our 10-year journey traveling around the world as we started traveling. So many of the story really is an amalgamation of our experiences. It's just that we've put everything together in one place across 7 days, and it doesn't exist. That's fictional. The fact that everything exists together, but every room they stay in, the experiences, the goal was to really speak from the heart. And we felt that in order to do that and convey that, it had to be real.
So the rooms were rooms that you actually stayed in your travels.
In different
Yes.
parts of the world, the
Wow.
hotels, yeah.
Wow. And from the book now, I noticed that you have different events that are coming in 2025.
Yes.
So you have the book club, which I'm probably going to join that because I think, oh my God, I love the book. I'm going to get one for my daughter, my friends. I'm buying them for everyone. I already have gifts planned.
I thank you so much.
And the most important part, the Orchid is, yes, is this spa retreat for the soul. But really what we want to convey is that the Orchid is inside of you. You can create the Orchid, that place, that sanctuary where it's safe, it's sure, you have help in order to go to those dark places inside of you and do the healing and cleaning and anything else you want to do to live a better life.
Yeah. Oh, you know what else I wanted to talk about was, let me see, I wrote it down here.
We're so excited that you're so excited.
Oh, the spectrum of inner growth. Did you make that up or is there something out there about that? Because I love that.
Short story
To me,
behind.
remember, Susan,
Yeah.
this book took us 30 years in the making. My mom died when she was 48 and I was 20. And from there was
Spiral down. No?
a spiral down to the most difficult moments in my life, really lonely periods. So at one point, when I find all this information and all the experience that I was living, is how I can help people to understand that they can do it. I'm not special. You see, it's inside of us and how we can pass this information to more people in most simple way. And that's why it's a novel. That's why you have characters. All the characters inspire something in you. Every person is different. When we put all the elements, is for you to consider, to begin to see where you are, and if you want to change something, good. If you don't want to change anything, you read a fantastic novel.
Yes.
So is an invitation what is possible. So now you can talk.
So the spectrum, we were trying to figure out how to write, because the beauty of it all is that as we started writing, because we came from an entertainment background, we wanted to recreate writers' rooms, which I know are so successful when television shows are made. So we did hire a ghostwriter to make sure that what we were putting together was heading in the right direction and help us craft. We even had a poet look at the book afterwards, and when we adapted it into Spanish, and then we went crazy. At the same time, we were doing the audiobooks. So everything was happening at the same time. But one day, Rocio says, Angel, I sometimes get lost in the book. help me because I'm very visual. Let's do a map. So that's how we ended up with doing a map for the orchid. It doesn't exist, but there is a map. And of course, at that point, we knew the power that thought has. So we knew that if we made a map, the universe will get a pretty clear idea of how we want this place to be. And that's how we got also to the spectrum of inner growth, because we wanted to, in a way, put out there the simple chart that describes how we were viewing the world. And of course, we're viewing the energy, and how we're viewing is through those 5 lessons: awareness, gratitude, forgiveness, acceptance, and intention. And how those lessons, when truly applied, and the book treats them in a linear order, but they don't need to be linear, and they're not linear at all. You can spend the next 3 years of your life or more focus on forgiveness if that's what you need to do.
Right.
So, and we knew that it needed to end up in the highest vibration, and the highest vibration is love. And we knew that the lowest vibration is when you are blinded, when you're in survival. And so we started putting all these things together and trying to figure out how to explain it. And that's how the spectrum of growth came about, in order for us to kind of make sense for ourselves, but also for the readers, how we were viewing the novel, but really our own growth.
That's incredible, incredible. I was wondering, did they make this up, or is this a real thing, like in psychology?
Well, I'm sorry.
Is based on.
Well, at the end, it has a little bit of everything, of different psychological models and approaches. The pyramid of human needs, right? We were also inspired a lot by David Hawkins and the map of consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
And so all of that, plus our own process, I think ultimately, as you probably know, we humans take in an incredible amount of information. We normally don't create anything. Everything is things that we've absorbed from history, from hearsay, from conversations. And then each one of us has a unique way, when we throw out that information into the world, of adding our little spice and our little, flavor and knowledge and experience, which is unique. And so I think that's what the spectrum is. It's really our own way of explaining all of that information into our own language, if you will.
Susan, and I have a question, because you are in a school, right? Like you belong to a school of teaching people about how to feel better, how to increment the energy on themselves. So I want to know really your opinion about that.
About the chart and how you see it?
Yes.
I see it as truth, really. Like, it made perfect sense to me. That's why I was wondering, is this fictional or is this real? Because to me, it made perfect sense. And I was like, and it's so helpful as well. So yeah, I think that a lot of the women that are part of my audience, they're going through so many different transitions, because in midlife, you could be dealing with aging parents.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people get divorced midlife. Children are either going off to college or getting married, so now they're empty nesters. They could develop some kind of an illness, so there's a health challenge to it. And so there's so many different transitions for women in life. And I think that that whole chart really fills that, and you can play into that and understand where it is that you're going with that. So I loved it. I thought it was great. It was real. I mean, like I said, I'm not that far into the book, so I really can't speak too much about it. But from where I'm at right now, it's just fabulous, and I can't put it down.
Please promise us that you're going to reach out to us after you're done.
Yes.
I can't wait to hear.
I will. And so I want to talk about the events that you're having coming up in 2025. I know about the book club, but if you want to touch on some of the other ones.
You want me to?
Please.
Thank you so much, Susan. What's happening now? We are really creating space for the book to have as wide a distribution as possible. So we launched in February of last year, 24, and the only thing we are doing is really pushing the book so that more people come across to it. Now, we are in the process, because more and more people are asking for it, of really entering that next stage, which we weren't expecting to enter for perhaps a while longer. And that is to have more presential, more in-person activities where people can experience the orchid more directly. So that begins with the book club that we're launching, as you mentioned, in July. It's meant to be a small gathering of people. Eventually, it may be larger, but the idea is for us to become more familiar with what makes sense from the point of view of conversations, of exercises, and so on.
Right.
Then in October, we are looking at doing the Orchid Experience, which will be an in-person one-day event. Right now, we're planning them in Los Angeles, California, both in Spanish and in English, in which we are going to give people a taste of the exercises, of the experiences that they are going to read about, that you're going to read about very soon in the book. And the goal is this. It's not meant to replace the book, but it's meant to give people an understanding of how an exercise as simple as looking and staring at each other in the eyes can be so profound, can lead you to tears, can give you aha moments, can open up your inner self in ways that today, because we're so bombarded with stimuli from so many things around us, we don't make that time or an opportunity to look at yourself in a mirror and say, I love you. But say it enough times until you start to feel it and you go to tears. When you understand the profound beauty of those words, when you apply them to yourself, deeply, profoundly, sincerely. So that's what the events are going to be. And in addition to that, I'll just take the opportunity to mention that we began working on the television show. And we began working on a theater play.
I saw you have a podcast also, correct?
Yes. The podcasts, do you want to speak to the podcast?
Yes, the podcast has been for people to see that they are not alone. That when you read the book, you really go inside of yourself, and then you begin to experience yourself in another way. So we want to put the podcast for the readers, for them to express how the book was, the experience for them. So, for example, somebody was talking about the limiting beliefs that they were carrying and how they were making these small changes, and now life has been going in another direction. Thanks. When they read the book, it's like begins to help me to do and to gain another perspective. And we are doing these interviews for more people to see that they are real, that is not about ourselves, it's about every person inside of them. They have the knowledge to explore wherever they need. And at the ultimate point, to try to elevate the vibration to achieve what is harmony.
Yes.
Because we don't need to heal anything. It's how we begin to go back and see all this perspective. And so for that reason, we are doing the podcast. First, we did women, and now we are doing men, because the book, even though it's written for women, is for humans.
Yes.
And when a man pick up the book and read it, he's gonna have so much understanding about himself, and women too. And what we want to create is this bridge of communication to bring together this amazing combination of force
Yes.
that is the masculine and the feminine in every person. How do you put it?
Yeah, no, I think you said it on.
Yes, I'm thinking that you need a sequel to this book, and it needs to be with characters of 5 men.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes,
we're
That's deep.
we're having all these conversations about, when we experienced the Orchid, when we wrote it, we saw it as a universe of things that are happening. What we are seeing in this particular book is only one part of the property.
Yeah.
There are other things happening right now, just like in the world right now, right? And we wanted to keep it very simple too, so that anyone who hasn't dared to venture into the world of spirituality from a different perspective, we're so attached and chained sometimes by our own beliefs and our own ideas. We wanted it to be safe. So you will see, as I'm sure you've seen already, that in the Orchid, the person, the reader, but also these 5 women find teachers and guides and healers from all over the world in different modalities. Why? Because we learned through our travels that the wisdom of the world truly is spread throughout the entire world.
Yeah.
No one owns it. So we didn't want to create a situation in which there was only one person disseminating all this knowledge, all this wisdom, and let it end in that one relationship. We wanted it to be about multiple relationships and multiple approaches. And something that we present in the book may not work for one woman, but will work for another. And so it was important to have massages and different therapies, even tarot. We speak about a woman who, Nicole, is very religious. So her story is intertwined with her experience in religion. And we were very careful to not be judgmental about anything, to make sure that positivity and negativity were taken out of the conversation, because those are judgments.
Yeah.
And so this is a welcoming place where anybody can come to expand themselves as much as they want to.
I love it.
And you know, Susan, what I love about this? Remember, I tried to do this book to my mother. Was the book that I wish she had in her more
darkest times,
and the same for me, okay? So needs to be very simple. Needs to be very simple and transcend something important. All the laws that I remember listening when I was very depressed, but they didn't explain me how to use them. And that's why it's very important that the book is explaining how to use different tools.
Yes.
From different situations, because then you can begin to say, do your tailor for yourself, because no one knows better what you need than yourself. But if you don't know that over there in the world you have tools, you don't use them. But in the moment, because you need to pay a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
Really to access to information, and not everyone has neither the money, neither the time. And that's why we try to put in a very simple way all the laws that they are outside, but in practical way for people to see how to use it. So it's a guide.
Yeah.
Because of the book is about the problem, and 90% of the book is about how you go out of the problem. So it's practical.
Yeah.
I was in a need of something like this many years ago, and the people who I want to reach is the person who doesn't know exactly is how I get, how I do, yes, manifest, but how I manifest.
Right.
And you need to begin to understand the past, the present, and the future. How is the present moment in a way that is simple.
Yeah.
So for that reason, needs to be examples and how to use it.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. I love it. I love it. So where do you go from here?
Well, I think one of the many things we need to do is continue the path we're in and allow ourselves to be guided, allow ourselves to continue to be inspired. Conversations like this one are reminders that we are on our right path. So, as you probably experience, there are days we wake up and we doubt. Where do we go from here? And is this going to work? Are we going to be able to live of this? And I mean, all of these questions that the human body and mind bring about, and then we come across someone who has had a profound experience with the book, and we're pushed to tears. And so our goal is for more people to experience the book, to continue expanding. We throw our net out there with all sorts of different conversations and projects. And it's almost like we sit back and we just let God and the universe or spirit, whatever you want to call it, tell us what step we should take next. But it's growing. It's growing
Yeah.
tremendously.
I wanted to ask you, when was it published? Because I didn't look to see when it came out.
February 24.
Oh,
And
so it's over a year.
February 14,
Oh, beautiful.
2024.
Oh, I
as a
love it.
celebration of self-love.
Yes.
Celebrations of self-love.
Perfect.
And and we sit down and I tell Rocio, it is incredible what has taken place in a year and a half almost. What I see, the way I see people interact, and with my experience in entertainment and media and content, very few pieces of content that we created in my previous life saw the profound connection that we are seeing with the book and the people who read it. And so we are inspired. We know we're in right path. We know that at some point there will be 1 million people backing us up as we're entering into different types of conversations with people of how we can bring this to reality. One of the main philosophies of our company is called For the Highest Good.
Yes.
It's to become a communication conglomerate in which everything we produce helps human beings live a better life through storytelling, through the consumption of movies, TV, eventually probably music, who knows. But right now, it's all about sharing the book with as many people as possible so that we can continue building on that community.
Right.
And then a strong foundation to move from.
So did the company come before the book, or did you create the company after the book?
Everything at the same time.
Everything started
Everything at the same time.
Everything at the same time, and we were amazed that the name was available and the other name was available.
Yeah.
And Susan, what I can tell you is, do you believe in miracles? And it's like, I live in miracles.
Yeah.
I really see the miracles happen all the time. And what I discovered about the miracles of these synchronicities, how you want to call them,
Yes.
is when you achieve to be in the vibration of love, everything begins to happen.
Yeah.
So that's why if we explain this to more people, they gonna understand how it looks difficult, but really is not. When you for yourself to really clean the house, and when you clean the house and open your mind, everything aligns. Your thoughts, your words, your feelings, and your actions, and everything else. So in that moment, it's like, wow. And you understand it's not a competition.
Right. And
It's
everyone's on their own path, their own
Yeah.
journey.
100%. It's like if they don't know better, it's because they don't know.
Right.
So how we can help them to know really that they can do it? It's like you don't need to rob me. We can help you for you to feel better about yourself. And at one point when I was feeling super lonely and sad and I tried to kill myself at one point, and you don't have any hope, even in those moments when you are super, you are here for a purpose and everyone needs you and needs you to feel good about yourself, because it's part of this understanding that really, even though that I was, imagine if I finish my life.
I was just saying, yeah, look what you've accomplished now. You're helping so many women, so many people.
Imagine
That's
if I
your
did,
purpose.
you see how really is possible. Imagine myself, Susan, having a podcast with you. I'm a Mexican. I didn't speak English until 10 years ago. I didn't have a book. I was not able to go to university. It's like so many challenge that at one point what I want to give to anyone who is there outside is, if I did it without help, anyone can do it.
I'm going to add something, because when I met Rocio, we've been together for 25 years, 23 of them married. And I remember we started living together a few months after meeting, because the connection this was meant to be, period. But I remember her getting up one day and we're at home and she says to me, "Today I'm happy." And I said, "What?
Yeah.
What do you mean? You're not happy all the time?" And so I couldn't comprehend the abyss in which she was living. Now, fast forward 25 years, and today that has gone the other way, where I was angry or I was sad for a few minutes or a few hours today. And I say this so that the listener and the viewer can understand what is it that we're proposing here. What we're proposing is that there are different ways in which you can change the state in which you live if you so desire it. And there's incredible amount of information. We've somehow amalgamated all this information into a story to even make it more simple for you. So if all you have is a small amount of money in your pocket, and in this case, the book is worth whatever it's worth, but more or less the equivalent of $25 to $30 in wherever you are in the world, you can give yourself an experience of going to a spa, to a retreat center, and transform your life across 7 days. Now, those 7 days may be 3 months that it takes you to read the book, or we know people that read it in 2 days. So it's really up to
We know
you.
people who have been reading the book 4 times.
Yeah, that's right. We know people who are reading it again and again.
I could
So
see that. You learn
Yeah.
something new each time you read it.
Yes. And it's a way to then, because one of the things that happens, as you probably know, when someone picks up a self-help book or is sitting in front of a coach or a therapist, the guards come up immediately. And in the book, somehow the guards come down because well, you're reading a story. And so that's the invitation. Give yourself the gift. And by the way, this is not to replace anything else. This is to allow yourself to enter more softly into a mindset that hopefully guides you to deeper conversations with your therapist, to try new things. We have a 24-year-old friend who read the book, and she says, for me, little steps feel like gigantic shifts in my life. Yet I, after reading the book, went to a Reiki session. And it changed me. And now I'm looking to do more.
Yes, I didn't believe in that. I didn't believe in energy.
I'm a Reiki master.
Oh,
Wow!
so the book opened this young woman to the
Yeah.
possibility of trying more. We have another lady, African American, who said, I hold this book as a holy book next to other holy books that I have. Because what it did to me and the way in which I felt it spoke to me was at that level. And we're crying in front of her, of course, out of gratitude and humility.
Yes.
That's the invitation.
That's beautiful. This book is going to change a lot of lives. I really believe that it will. I'm going to buy one for my daughter. I'm not giving her my copy.
No, that's yours.
That's mine. But I'm going to buy it for her and my girlfriends when it's their birthday. Instead of buying them another t-shirt or another piece of jewelry, they're getting the book. Because it doesn't matter. Like I already, as I'm reading it, it doesn't matter if you're 17 years old and you're reading this book. Actually, it would help for a 17-year-old tremendously to live their life. I'm 65, so I'm still learning every day, right? So it definitely will help me. But the younger women who struggle so much with identity and how they look and social media and all of the competition, and she's prettier than me. That's why the one about the eating disorder is fabulous, because it's prevalent in younger women.
Yeah.
It really is. And I believe that social media plays a very big part in that, because you're comparing yourself to all these other people and you don't see your own true uniqueness, because we're all unique and beautiful in our own way. And we need to learn that. We really do.
For sure.
It's beautiful. I love the book. I love every aspect of it and what you're doing. And I love the fact that you're taking it beyond just the book, and you created a podcast, you're on YouTube. And so you said something about you creating a movie.
Well, we are in the very early stages of trying to bring the novel to television.
Yeah. Oh,
Because
television.
we understand that there's a lot of people that don't read, even audiobooks, they don't listen. But we do know that the medium of communication that is perhaps most prevalent today outside of social media, it's television. People still tune into news, they watch series, they're impacted by it. And I use television very loosely because it takes many forms today. But we want this to be a reminder, right? That if you look at many of the stories that have been made, and people were doing the best that they could with what they have, right? Ultimately. But an example we use a lot, for a long time, the princess would have to end up in the arms of the knight, right? And live happily ever after. That was happiness.
Yeah.
And one day, Disney decided that happiness was the love of a sister through the movie Frozen. And so that impacted, I'm sure, a generation of young ladies who said, I love my sister and my sister is my powerhouse. We need to tell more stories. They're being told. I'm sure we're just looking to add to that.
For example, Snow White didn't resonate with the young audience anymore, because it's like, no, that doesn't happen. So it's an example of how times are changing, and we need to. And we need to help more. It's not we need to, but it's like it's happening. And if Susan, all your knowledge that you know is helping to those generations, and our knowledge is helping those generations, and together we can really create an amazing tomorrow. So it's like that working.
And we need to normalize. Our desire is to help normalize more what until now has been called esoteric, and for which you would have been burned 500 years ago, right? And that it's still in our genes, as you know. It's still part of our body structure, and little by little, by showing a new direction, opening these conversations up, and demonstrating that really at the end, they're just dimensions of ourselves, that if we embrace them, we can then align ourselves fully as these beings that exist and that are so powerful, omnipotent.
Yeah.
Because what we're able to do with our minds, what we're able to do with our bodies, with our emotions, there's so much information out there. And what we wanted to do is open the door for those who are skeptical, for those who would not dare, but do it softly. And so that's the intent of our book. I could see you mentioned, another book for five men. I also see another, a couple of books in which we go in the stories of the healers and teachers and guys that are part of this. There are so many amazing characters that you're about to meet right now.
The Reiki
Yes.
master.
Yeah,
Yes.
I was going to say about Reiki because, there's a lot of people, when I say I'm a Reiki master, they look at me like, I don't believe in that. And I'll ask them, let me ask you something. Do you believe in a higher power? Oh, yes, I do. Well, I don't consider myself a higher power, but you believe in a higher power. So there's something greater than yourself that you either worship or you pray to. That's exactly, it's a vibration, and we are all vibrating. We all have energy. We're all energetic. And so by me just sending my hands out to you, sending you love, sending you healing, if you are open to receiving it the way you're open to receiving your higher power, it's the same concept. And they'll sometimes go, yeah, that kind of makes sense,
I remember when I was about 28 years old, and I read Neil Donald Walsh, A Conversation with God.
Oh, I read that book.
And, and there was a passage in which Neil is like, oh, dear God, but, these jokes, right? Because the idea is that you need to be so reverential to this power that you need to almost crawl to the ground. And God answers, but who do you think created jokes? And the people who tell them.
Joy.
Yeah.
And so I'm reminded that everything that exists by the power of, and therefore everything somehow ties together. And I believe that it is our duty and therefore our privilege to bring all these things together and understand how they correlate. How does Reiki come into play? How does spirituality? How does religion? How does interpretations change and have varied throughout time? But ultimately, that the answer to everything that you search for is inside of you, and that there is no need for intermediaries between you and that great power. And there are helpers, but no necessarily intermediaries, right? There are bridges, but they're not exclusive.
Right.
And that there are many paths to that direction. And so that's the offer.
Yes. So leave me with some final thoughts before we go.
Why don't you read
Okay, I'll start.
The dedication?
I'll start the dedication to the book because it's very brief and I think it gets to the point very quickly. And so to you who are watching and who are listening, this is how we begin the book. To all who journey through these pages, may you be inspired to rewrite your own narrative and live a life of love, free of limitations, and enriched by the knowledge that you are powerful beyond belief.
Wow. What a finale. Beautiful. Thank you so much for being here. I know the book is a huge success. It's definitely going to be. And I know that you're going to create a lot of healing with this book, and it's going to just spread out across the world. And I think it's putting you guys on the map for something really great. So I'm so honored that you came on to my podcast. And I'm really, really grateful. I really am. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Susan.
Thank you, Susan.
We're honored.
Yes, for this amazing space, and for anyone who is listening. Remember, it's not small because we are working together to
Yes.
really for the listener. And here today, someone is going to take something incredible with them and they're going to transform and do the alchemy. So this is the purpose of our lives.
Yes.
This is what makes life worth living. So thank you for having us
Thank
in
you for
this
the space.
amazing podcast and have this incredible conversation full of love.
Thank
Really.
you. Thank you